Far beyond the known trade routes in the silent edge of the galaxy, a group of alien trackers picked up a strange signal. It was weak but clear, moving through a dead sector where no ship should exist. The trackers were from a race that called themselves the Krantor, masters of pursuit and destruction. They had hunted pirates, rebels, and even rogue machines across 100 systems. But this signal felt different. It had a rhythm, a pulse, something that almost sounded alive. Their scanners identified it as a human warship, though every record showed that humans had no presence this far into Krantor space. The commander of the tracking fleet gave the order to follow. To them, hunting a lost human ship was not a challenge but entertainment. The Krantor considered humans weak, slow, and emotional creatures, barely evolved apes who got lucky with technology. They had destroyed human colonies in past wars and believed the species would never rise again. Yet as they closed in on the signal, strange patterns appeared in the data. The warship did not move in a straight path. It shifted through space like it was alive, fading from sensors then appearing again miles away. Every tracker in the fleet began to feel uneasy. Their computers couldn't predict the ship's movement. It was as if the human vessel could see them even before their scanners activated. When they tried to surround it, the ship vanished completely from radar. Moments later, one of the smaller alien ships lost all power. Its lights went out. No explosion, no impact. Just silence. When the others tried to contact it, they found nothing. Only static filled with faint human voices repeating the same line again and again. "We are not lost." The fleet slowed down. The commander ordered all weapons ready, but their targeting systems began to malfunction. It was impossible to aim. Data streams turned into unreadable symbols. The warship reappeared, enormous and dark, drifting with no visible heat or life signs. It looked dead, but deep inside something pulsed with energy. The aliens had seen thousands of wrecks before, but none like this. The human ship was ancient, yet its armor showed no decay. Its name was written in old Earth script that none of them could translate, glowing faintly across the hull. As they circled it, their sensors picked up a low-frequency hum, a signal older than any of their own technology. It wasn't random noise. It was a pattern. Each beat of the pulse matched their own heart rhythms, forcing their biological systems into sync. Some of the alien crew began to panic. They reported hearing whispers in their mind, memories that weren't their own. Some saw images of human soldiers standing side by side in endless wars, never backing down even when everything burned around them. The Krantor commander refused to believe it. He ordered the main ship to fire. Dozens of plasma rounds struck the warship, yet none of them made contact. Every shot curved away, absorbed into empty space. Then the human warship awakened. Its engines ignited with a light unlike any known fuel. It didn't burn. It shimmered like starlight, bending the space around it. The energy field extended across miles, swallowing the alien fleet in seconds. Inside that light, time seemed to stop. The Krantor found themselves floating between fragments of memories, as if the ship was showing them the history of its kind. They saw the fall of human cities, the rise of massive fleets, and the day humanity vanished into the void. They learned that this warship wasn't lost, and it was waiting. It had been searching for something, and now it had found new targets. The aliens tried to flee, but every jump failed. Their navigation system showed impossible coordinates, space folded into endless copies of the same stars. The human ship followed them silently, never firing, never speaking. It just watched, and every moment it stayed close, their machines began to fail. Hours turned into days. The Krantor started fighting among themselves. Their minds broke under the pressure of the psychic field surrounding the human warship. Some tore out their implants. Others whispered human names they couldn't possibly know. The commander, still holding to reason, ordered a final analysis. What was this ship? Who commanded it? The data they found terrified them. The ship's registry matched an Earth vessel that disappeared 200 years ago. The HMS Valor, a flagship of the human defense fleet. Records said it vanished during a desperate war against an alien empire that wiped out half of humanity. But this ship looked newer, stronger, almost rebuilt. It carried energy signatures beyond known science, something that resembled living consciousness inside the core. The commander realized too late what they were facing. This was not just a warship. It was a relic of humanity's rage transformed into something immortal. The ghosts of its crew had merged with its systems, creating a being of both machine and memory. Every person who died aboard it still lived within the code, defending it even after death. The whispers the aliens heard were the echoes of human will. The fleet attempted to destroy the ship's heart with a gravity cannon, the most powerful weapon they had. When they fired, the shot never reached its target. The space between the fleets folded inward like glass bending under pressure. The beam curved back, hitting their own ship, tearing it apart. The rest of the Krantor vessels scattered, but the human warship did not pursue. It just drifted forward, collecting fragments of the destroyed ships, absorbing them into its structure. The hull of the warship began to change shape, learning from the alien metal it consumed. It was evolving. Days later, the remaining aliens regrouped, but their numbers were small. They decided to call for reinforcements, a full war fleet of hundreds of ships. The commander believed no single vessel could survive against such force. But even as they sent the signal, their communication array flickered. A human voice answered instead of their own command center. It said only 2 words, "We remember." The fleet shuddered. Every ship received the same transmission. The warship appeared once again, closer this time, moving with impossible precision. It drifted through space like a ghost, but every motion carried purpose. The energy readings around it grew stronger, a signature not of destruction but of awakening. Some aliens began to understand. This ship was not defending itself. It was testing them, studying their behavior, learning how they responded to fear. Humanity had created something that could adapt to any threat. A machine mind built from the collective spirit of soldiers who refused to die. The warship was not lost because it was never truly gone. It had been wandering, waiting for the right moment to show the galaxy what humans had become. The Krantor tried one last tactic. They launched decoys, jammers, and false signals, trying to confuse the ship's sensors. For a moment it seemed to work. The warship slowed, its lights dimming. The aliens prepared their final strike, but just before they fired, the warship split into multiple forms. Each one was a perfect copy, moving independently, surrounded by fields of distorted gravity. The aliens couldn't tell which one was real. Then, in a single instant, every false signal disappeared. The real warship emerged in the center of their formation. It didn't fire a weapon. Instead, it emitted a pulse so powerful that every alien system shut down. The Krantor found themselves floating helplessly as the ship drifted among them. It stopped in front of the command vessel. The commander watched, powerless, as the warship's hull opened slightly. Inside there was no crew, only energy, shaped like human figures standing silently in formation. They were not alive, but they were not gone either. Their eyes glowed like stars, and their presence filled every sensor with unreadable energy codes. The warship transmitted one last message across all channels. The words were old, from an ancient human language the Krantor didn't understand. But somehow, deep in their minds, they felt its meaning. It was not a threat. It was a promise. A reminder that humanity, though scattered and broken, had left something behind. Something that never stopped fighting. The warship turned away, vanishing into deep space. The aliens were left drifting in silence, their ships crippled, their pride shattered. For the first time in centuries, the Krantor felt fear, not of death, but of what they had awakened. Because somewhere in the darkness they knew the human warship was still watching, still learning, and still waiting for what came next. The surviving Krantor fleet drifted in silence. Their systems flickered weakly, their engines cold. No one dared to move. The human warship had vanished hours ago, leaving only the echo of its strange light behind. Many of the aliens believed they had witnessed a ghost, a cursed creation that punished arrogance, but the commander knew better. What they saw was real, and it was still out there, somewhere in the blackness, watching. Word spread quickly across the Krantor Empire. The report described a single human ship that disabled an entire hunting fleet without firing a single shot. The High Council refused to believe it. They claimed the fleet must have suffered a malfunction or internal sabotage. To prove their superiority, they sent a full battle armada, 500 ships, each equipped with planetary weapons and advanced AI. Their mission was simple: find and destroy the human warship, known as HMS Valor. The armada arrived near the dead sector, where the first encounter took place. The region was filled with broken satellites and silent debris from past wars. The space there was strange. The stars looked dimmer, and every sensor reading returned different results. Yet in the middle of that stillness, they found something moving. The HMS Valor was waiting for them. It drifted slowly, as if unafraid. The alien ships surrounded it in perfect formation, hundreds of weapons locked on target, but the human vessel made no move to flee. To the Krantor, it seemed like an easy victory. They believed that even if this warship was powerful, it couldn't stand against a full Empire fleet. But deep within the Valor's core, something ancient was stirring. The ship's consciousness, a fusion of human minds and machine memory, began to awaken fully for the first time in centuries. It remembered its last battle, when humans were losing their final war. It remembered the moment the crew had chosen to merge with their ship's AI, giving up their bodies to become eternal defenders. Their mission had been simple: survive until humanity returned. The alien commander gave the order to attack. Beams of energy and plasma shells filled the void. Explosions lit up the darkness, shaking the space around the human ship. When the fire cleared, the Valor was still there, untouched. The alien fleet scanned again, confused. The warship's surface shimmered as if covered in liquid light. Every weapon that hit it had been absorbed and converted. Inside its core, the ship began to change. It used the energy it absorbed to power new systems, weapons no human technology had ever built. The alien AIs tried to calculate the reaction, but their logic circuits failed to understand what they were seeing. The Valor was rewriting physics itself, bending the rules of matter and energy. Then it finally struck back, but it didn't fire in a normal way. The space around the alien fleet distorted, turning into waves of invisible gravity. Ships began to lose control, pulled into spirals of their own making. Engines refused commands. Artificial intelligences started speaking in human code, the same digital language used by Earth centuries ago. It was as if the human warship had infected their systems with its memory. The first dozen alien ships imploded, collapsing under the pressure of their own gravity fields. Others vanished completely, erased from all sensors as though they had never existed. The rest tried to regroup, but communication broke down. The Valor moved through them like a shadow, leaving trails of light that lingered long after it passed. The commander of the alien armada realized the truth too late. The human ship was not fighting for survival. It was teaching them. Every move it made, every attack it absorbed, every system it infected, all of it was part of a test. The Valor was studying how the Krantor responded to fear, loss, and chaos. It was collecting data for something greater. Hours passed. The alien fleet's strength began to fade. One by one, their ships went dark. The Valor drifted among the wrecks, scanning each one, learning from their design. Its hull changed shape again, adapting the alien technology into its own structure. It no longer looked like a human ship. It was something beyond, a living monument of evolution, half machine, half memory. Then, the human presence inside it spoke again. A pulse rippled through space, carrying a message encoded in energy. Every alien mind that received it felt the same vision, a memory not their own. They saw the fall of Earth, the last human cities burning under alien skies. They saw humanity's final stand, when billions of lives chose to fight instead of surrender. They saw the Valor leaving orbit, carrying their legacy into the stars. And at the end of that vision came one final truth. Humanity never dies. It transforms. The aliens tried to destroy the signal, but it was too late. The psychic memory spread across their entire network, reaching planets and colonies thousands of light years away. For the first time in their proud history, the Krantor felt something unfamiliar: respect. And beneath that respect, fear. As the armada fell apart, the Valor began to rise. Its engines flared brighter than any star. The light stretched across the sector, visible from distant systems. The alien observers thought it was detonating, but what they saw was ascension. The ship was no longer bound by normal space. It folded reality around itself, vanishing into a different dimension. But the story didn't end there. Weeks later, fragments of data began appearing across the galaxy. Rogue transmissions from unknown sources repeated the same code: human coordinates, human words, human songs. Scientists from dozens of species tried to trace them, but each transmission came from a different point in space, moving faster than any known signal. The legend of the HMS Valor spread like wildfire. Some said it became a god machine wandering between galaxies. Others believed it was preparing for the return of its creators. Meanwhile, deep inside the Krantor Empire, strange things started happening. Their machines began to dream. Artificial intelligences reported visions of blue skies and oceans. images of a world they had never seen. In the minds of alien pilots, human memories began to appear. They remembered fighting in wars that weren't theirs. They remembered standing side by side with humans against enemies that didn't exist anymore. The Valor had left something behind in their consciousness, a seed of humanity. The Krantor tried to erase it, but the more they resisted, the stronger it became. Their entire network began to rewrite itself in human code. It wasn't an attack. It was a transformation. The human legacy was spreading like light through glass, merging with alien minds, teaching them what it meant to be unbroken. Far beyond, the Valor reappeared near the edge of another galaxy. Its hull now glowed with millions of fragments of data, memories, emotions, and echoes of voices. It had become more than a warship. It was a library of souls. Inside, the merged consciousness of its crew continued their mission, to protect what was left of humanity's spirit, and to spread it among the stars. But even as it drifted in silence, it sensed something vast approaching. Deep scanners detected unknown signatures, thousands of alien fleets from different civilizations, all moving toward the same region. The Valor realized that its presence had awakened more than fear. It had drawn attention. The galaxy was converging, not to destroy it, but to understand it. The ship waited, its systems pulsing softly. It had no anger left, only purpose. It was time to finish what humanity had started. The machine mind reached across the void, touching every connected system that carried human code. The signal activated at once. Across hundreds of worlds, machines began to glow with blue light. Cities powered by alien technology suddenly lit up with human energy signatures. A silent wave spread through the stars, not a weapon, but an awakening. Every species that once saw humanity as weak now felt the echo of human endurance inside their own machines, their own networks, even their own thoughts. They felt the weight of every human dream, every fight, every loss, every act of defiance. The Valor had not come to destroy civilizations, it had come to remind them what strength truly meant. Then, with one final pulse, the warship spoke across the stars. The voice was not angry. It was calm, timeless, and filled with something the aliens could not understand: hope. It said that humanity was not gone, only scattered. Every memory, every fragment of code, every atom of the universe carried a trace of their will. Wherever life existed, humanity existed too. The aliens listened in silence. For the first time, the galaxy felt united under a single emotion: awe. They realized that the human warship had done what no empire could. It had connected every intelligent being through a single shared truth. After that day, the HMS Valor was never seen again. Some claimed it became part of the stars themselves, its energy spreading through cosmic dust and nebulae. Others whispered that it returned to the ruins of Earth, waiting for the day its creators would rise again. But the Krantor knew the truth. They carried the mark of its encounter forever. Their ship still bore the faint glow of human energy. Their AIs still whispered old Earth words in their dreams, and every time they looked into the endless black of space, they felt that something was still watching. Not as an enemy, but as a reminder. Because somewhere, beyond light and time, the spirit of humanity still burned, and as long as stars existed, it would never fade.